Hello everyone! I'm Rachel Rogers and you are watching Rachel Rogers TV. Thank you so much for being here. As per usual, I am pumped and full of energy to answer one of your very frequently asked questions. And the question is, should I hire a lawyer to register my trademarks, or can I use LegalZoom or some other service to do it myself? Now, the short answer to that question is hells yes, you should hire a lawyer to help you with trademark registration. And hells no, you should not use LegalZoom. In fact, I beg of you, do not do it. Now, you guys know that I never try to convince you that you have to hire a lawyer for every single little legal need that your business has. However, what I do want you to do is hire a lawyer when you need them and then use an informed DIY method when it's something that you can totally do on your own. Unfortunately, trademark registration is not one of those things that you can totally do on your own for a myriad of reasons that we are about to get into in this video. So here is why you shouldn't handle your own trademark registration. The first reason is that the application looks deceptively simple. It is not simple, even though it looks that way, okay? So you might think, oh, I'm just gonna fill in, a couple of things, answering a couple of questions on a simple form. It's not that simple, and it gets very, very complicated once that form is submitted. And unfortunately, whether your application will go through or not often highly depends on what you've initially put into that form. It's not something that you can do easily as a layman and that you can always get right. It's not necessarily intuitive as you might think it is. In fact, a huge percentage of trademark applications actually get abandoned because they were done by a business owner themselves rather than by a lawyer. And when the application starts to get complicated, which is right after you hit submit on the application, they wind up abandoning it because they don't know what to do next. So then you lose your filing fees and, you've wasted time, and there are other negative things that can come from an abandoned trademark application. So that's not what you want. The by far trickiest part of the trademark application is the actual description of the goods and services that are sold under the brand name, under the trademark, right? So the trademark description needs to be both broad so that it maximizes your trademark protection for this particular trademark that you're registering. And it also needs to be narrow enough that the USPTO will actually register it. So it's a fine balance that is very hard to nail as a layperson. You really need to be somebody like me, a trademark attorney, doing it all the time to make it easy for you to accomplish that. Besides that, one of the other issues with DIYing your own trademark registration application is that 80% of trademark applications get an office action. Now, an office action is a preliminary denial. It looks like a legal brief, it cites case law, and it scares people. And that's usually when someone who's tried to do the application themselves quit, right? And they wind up abandoning their application. Now, in the original application, if you did not have that good, broad, narrow balance in your description, you might be really, really limited in the arguments that you can make to overcome the office action. So the office action is a legal brief that requires a response, usually in the form of a legal brief response, right? So you need to cite case law yourself and make an argument as to why the USPTO should register your application anyway, even though they've identified this particular challenge with your mark. So this is something that you definitely want to have a lawyer to help you get through that process. It is not something that you want to attempt to do on your own. The other important thing to know about the description part of the application is that later on when you need to make arguments, you can make some arguments that allow you to edit your description in very minimal ways. You can take away from the description, but you cannot add to it. So that's why it's really, really important that you nail the description up front, because you won't be able to add anything to it, and you could wind up with a very, very weak mark or no mark at all once you get through the office action process. So definitely not something that you want to attempt on your own. And last but not least, another reason why you don't want to do the application yourself is because you are busy. You are a busy entrepreneur, small business owner. You have clients to serve. You have things to sell. You have marketing to do, right? You're busy conquering the world, and you don't have time to do things like this, especially because it's going to take you so much longer because you don't know what you're doing really, right? So the trademark application comes with tons of very strict deadlines that must be met, okay? So if you are not set up like I am, because I have a trademark law firm, to handle these applications and respond to deadlines in a timely manner, then you might wind up missing a deadline and just screw yourself, right? So another reason, one of the smaller reasons, but also another important reason why you don't want to have to deal with this yourself. Now, you may be wondering why an automated solution like LegalZoom is not a good idea for trademark applications. Well, I speak based on experience, the experience of my clients. Many of my clients have come to me after starting their trademark application with LegalZoom and then not being able to finish it or running into serious challenges and having to start over or have us take over and try to save the application, which can't always be done. So one of the main reasons why I don't recommend LegalZoom or other automated trademark services is that these plug and chug type automated services are really not good at that broad, narrow balance in the description of your trademark application, which is really, 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 really important requirement of getting your trademark application approved by the USPTO. So you actually wind up filling out a form on LegalZoom, and unless you answer the questions correctly, which a lot of times you can't because it's not intuitive, you will not wind up with an application that truly represents your business and will actually protect your brand. For example, you have to choose your class, right? Which classes does your business belong in? Classes is very similar to industry, right? So when the USPTO is talking about what class you're registered in, they're really referring to what industry you're in and what products and services you are actually selling. So it's about the class of goods and services that you are selling. And a lot of times business owners have no idea. It's really hard to understand which class they should be in, which classes they might be missing out on, which ones make the most sense to register in for their particular business, for their particular goods and services. So that's the part that you really could use a lawyer's guidance on. And then in addition, you are entering the description or just picking and choosing a description from the class of goods and services, which in my experience is really bad at representing more modern businesses. So a lot of times tech startups and online-based businesses are not well represented in the classification of goods and services provided by the USPTO. So you can't just pick a description off a list provided by the USPTO for your business because your business is unique, right? You're killing it. You're doing something interesting and different than everybody else in your industry, which means that you need a custom description. One that's just picked off the list is not going to be ideal and is not going to protect your business. So those are some of the reasons why LegalZoom kind of sucks, to be honest, to do trademark applications. I've also had clients just wind up with an application that is a hot mess that they just have to start over, so really, really, really not a helpful service at all. If there was one, I would totally recommend it. I'd probably use it myself. But unfortunately, there isn't one because trademark is one of those things that's really not something that's easy to automate. It really does require the guidance of a trademark lawyer. So trademark registration comes with so many benefits. It prevents copycatters from benefiting and profiting from your hard work and your brand and misleading your customers. It solidifies your rights to use that brand nationwide all over the US. It also enables you to license out your brand, and it increases the value of your business. Those are just a few of the many benefits that come with trademark registration. So being that it's something that's really, really important for your business, it's not something that you want to entrust to LegalZoom or to try and DIY yourself. This is not an area where you are going to save money, okay? Just spend the money, hire a trademark lawyer, know that it's done right, and know that your brand is protected. There are other areas in your business where you can certainly DIY your legal needs, like forming your business entity. That would be one of the areas. Or registering your copyrights. That is a much simpler process and can often be done without an attorney and done correctly without an attorney. Unfortunately, trademark is not one of those things, so don't try to save money there. Find other areas in your business to save money. So those are just some of the reasons why it is totally worth it to hire a trademark lawyer to handle your trademark applications. So get the help you need so that it's done right and you can stay focused on the things that you do best. Alrighty, well, that's all I have for you today, folks. Thank you so much for watching Rachel Rogers TV. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend. And if you never want to miss an episode of Rachel Rogers TV, then just use the subscriber box below to subscribe. It's just like DVR. All right, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.